Hello, and welcome to Muckers Worldwide. This is our new weekly series, On This Day. Every week we tell you what happened on this day in the history of cycling, and this week's no different. So let's get into it. Today is an important day in the history of mountain biking, because it was on this day in 1987 that the first mountain bike was sold in the UK. That's right. Almost 34 years ago to the day that we're filming this. The first mountain bike was sold in the UK. The first mountain bike shop in the country opened its doors for business. It was called Unlock the Trails, and it was located in the Lake District. And it was started by two guys, one of whom was a former motorcycle dealer, and the other was a keen mountain biker who had seen the light. In those days, mountain bikes were a little bit like gold dust. They were really hard to get hold of. But these guys had a vision. They could see that there was a gap in the market, and they were determined to fill it. Not only did they open the first ever dedicated mountain bike shop in the country, they also started the first ever dedicated mountain bike magazine in the UK, which was called MB UK. Now at the time, mountain biking was in its relative infancy. It was still very much off-road. People weren't really riding trails. There were no purpose-built bike parks. It was much more like what we would call trailblazing today. These guys were instrumental in changing that. In fact, just a few years later in 1991, they helped to organize the first ever national downhill race in the UK, which took place at the Nevis Range in Scotland. It was the first race of its kind in the whole country. Now, back in those days, road cycling was where it was at. Everyone rode road bikes. Mountain bikes were for, well, off-roading. You didn't take them on the road. But these guys, they had a different vision. They wanted to show people that mountain bikes were for everyone, not just for off-roading. And they were instrumental in helping to popularize the sport of mountain biking in the UK. In fact, it's fair to say that without their vision, who knows how long it would have taken for mountain biking to catch on here. So why did mountain biking catch on so quickly in the UK? Well, there are a few reasons. Firstly, the UK has some of the best trails in the world. From the purpose-built bike parks to the miles and miles of off-road single track, there is something for everyone here. Secondly, the weather. Yes, the weather. People in the UK are obsessed with the weather. And it's this obsession that makes them seek out ways to ride all year round. And finally, it's the community. The mountain biking community in the UK is strong and welcoming. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an expert, you'll always find someone to ride with. So next time you're out on your bike, take a moment to think about the pioneers of mountain biking in the UK. And remember that without their vision, mountain biking as we know it today might not exist. That's all for this week's episode of On This Day. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to drop us a like, and we'll see you next week.